Hi, I'm David and welcome to Leisure Bit, and today we're going to be modifying to create this, which is a smaller memory foam mattress. We're going to reduce the size of one it was out to here so it fits properly. The reason for doing this is I was using a Duvalays previously. It was just one of the cheaper ones. The challenge with it was it was great in the winter. It rolled up a bit too big though. So it used up a little bit too much space, probably 2 or 3 times the size of that. That'll just go into a pillowcase and you can use it to lean on in the day. And also it was kind of a polyester material, so not the most comfortable. So just moving to a cotton based one, so it's lovely for the summer. Anyway, let's get cracking now and modify this and end up with this. So today we're going to actually modify a memory foam mattress topper and make one suitable to fit on the single bed part of the CV20. And we're going to make 2 of these up. So let's start with this one. Got this one from Dunelm. It was priced at £60, but there was 20% off, which was great. And it's the cooler than memory foam one, just to give a bit more ventilation. So let's open that up now. In the package there's some care instructions, and there we have it. That's as it comes, right length but slightly too wide because it'd hang over the bed the way we have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it out of its casing and we're going to reduce the size to 64 centimetres. It just zips out like so, and just zip it back, and then the memory foam comes out, as you can see here. I'm going to lay it out on the floor now to mark it up to cut it. Right, so I'm using a metal ruler here, it doesn't matter what type you use, and I want it about 64, and as it happens the length of this one is about 64. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use a Sharpie, and I'm going to mark up from one side of it, just on the edge of here, just to put some marks on, and then we'll join up the lines and make an edge so that we've got something to cut against. Let's take it right down to the end here. What we'll do now, we'll just join the dots basically, or join the lines. And this gives us a straight edge to cut. So when we cut it with the scissors, and I'm just going to be using scissors that I got which are the type for cutting material. It's a little bit tough to cut through, but it'll do. There we go. So we have one line now about 64 centimetres. Depending on what you're wanting to do for yours, you can obviously vary the width, or you can use it in full width if you pull the bed out and use 2 of them together. We decide to reduce it, and then it'll roll up nicely and just sit at the back and you can lean on it, so it comes in handy that way. Right, so we've got the scissors. Now we're just going to carefully cut along here, just along this line that we've created. You can just curl it up as you move along, and if you happen to go off a little bit, don't worry like that, because you can just snip it back. Obviously try not to dip in too much. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's a flexible material, but it's worth putting the effort in just to make sure you get it as straight as you can, and we'll just tidy up any jaggedness when we're finished. One thing to note, try and cut vertical when you're cutting so it doesn't create a taper. Nearly halfway now. Let's do the last bit now. Obviously be careful as well not to cut anything underneath. There we go, that's that cut. So we can roll this up, might come in handy for something in the future, either that or you can discard it. Just going to pop it there for now. And what I'm going to do now is just going to check along the edge here, and there's a couple of bits there with us cutting it along. I'm just going to tidy those up a bit. Makes a little bit of a mess, but it hoovers up, or you can pick it up no problem, just to make sure you've got a nice clean edge without any bits poking out. If need be, you can just put a very slight taper on the edge there. I'm just removing these loose ends here. I'm also cutting that green off because I have no doubt that'll end up staining the cover. You get the idea there. I'll just finish that off now. Right, so that's that done now and tidied off. So it doesn't have to be perfect, it's just to remove some of the kind of jagged edges. So next job now is we need to pop that to one side for now. Just fold that in half, pop it there. What we need to do now is just mark up the cover, and we want to actually modify it. Because at the moment it's let's just double check the size, because we're going to do this cleverly to make it easier. It's got 60, that's the size we want it to, so we actually want to lose off 22. So what we're going to do now is basically going to mark up and then sew down the side without the zip, which is actually this side. So I'm going to mark in 22, draw a line again, and then sew that. Either that or the actual width on the sewing machine, if we just fold that in a little bit, we're going to have it somewhere near there without needing to put a mark on it all the way through. So I'm just going to actually mark with a cut at each end so we know where to go from and to. And then we'll cover from there. Cut in that there and cut through the zip. I'm going to do the same at the other end. Just be careful when you're sewing not to actually have it folded, because you'll end up sewing in the bit you don't want to sew. Do the same at this end, pull that zip along. The other thing to do is make sure your zip's along before you cut it. I'm going to zip that one along there. And again, we'll do exactly the same. Just put a cut in there, because that's where we're going to cut it off in the end. So that keeps us right for where we want to sew. Now, what we want to do now is just zip it back round, because we want it to be in the right shape. So we'll zip that round there. And we've got our cut here. So we're going to start sewing, and I'm going to sew this down just so I can keep an eye and make sure that's taut. So we need to actually turn it inside out now before we sew it, because then we'll hide the seam. We're going to zip it up now inside out. Right, so that's inside out. I've seen where I made the cut there, and I'm just working out how much fold there is there. So a couple of centimetres, about 2.5 centimetres fold up there. And then just keep that nice and straight as we go through. And we're going to start to sew it now, start at that cut. Then just check that's going all right. And then just keep making sure that you've got the material nice and taut. And it's going in a straight line as we go through, as straight as you can get it. Just keep periodically stopping. If you can, try and make sure the needle's in when you're moving it. Just keep it nice and straight as you're going through. Just be careful on this last bit as we go through. There we go. Right, so we've got that sewn now. I go along there. And what we're going to do now is we're going to basically just cut, leaving about 1.5 centimetres, maybe 2 centimetres, depends how confident you are against cutting against the line. And we're just going to cut off this excess material because we've actually created a ceiling there now. So I'm just going to start by doing that. I'm just going to cut this corner off where we've got the zip. And I'm just going to cut to this side of the line. Make sure you're cutting to that side. And again, watch what's underneath so you don't cut through anything else. So just leave enough material. So probably about 1 centimetre I'm cutting at there. But if you're worried you're going to run into your stitching, cut a little bit wider. And say it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but the straighter the better. You can always take it in a little bit more once you've cut off the excess. I know what some of you will be thinking as well. You'd be expecting Rachel to do this, wouldn't you? So just keep an eye when you're cutting that you're not going to cut anything at the back. And again, you need a nice sharp pair of scissors suitable for cutting material with. Corner off again. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to unzip it. It's a little bit fiddly unzipping it backwards. Just be careful on the edge that you don't pull the zip off. I would just leave a little bit of space there. And we're actually going to now turn it back the right way around. Hopefully, if by magic, this should then end up back the correct way. Really. And there we go. We've got the big strap still so that we can hold it on in the corner. We've got a little strap just to keep it taut but without needing to tuck it under. So let's see if it fits. Right, we now need to pop the memory foam back into the cover just to check it all fits nicely. That along there. Tuck it up round here. It tucked right in the corner. Just make sure you pull the corners in, and again just be careful not to lose your zip. Nearly done. And then we'll straighten it and flatten it out. And there we go. One modified mattress to the right size to fit. How about that? Just going to roll it up now, and what you can do is you can use the strap here just to hold it in, and that'll actually fit inside a pillowcase now. So there you go, one modified, make sure it's nice and straight, one modified memory foam mattress to use as a topper in the camper van. I'd love your comments on any different ways you would have done that. Personally, I found it quite a quick job to do, didn't take too long. So firstly we remove the back cushions, and then we can leave the protective cover on there as well. So let's do that now, and let's pop the newly made mattress topper on. You can see there that fits nicely and it doesn't overlap, which would be the problem if we'd left it the full width. You'd start falling off, or you'd have to pull this right out, and we didn't want to do that. So that's perfect. Nice and soft as well, and obviously you've got the cushioning underneath. It saves you needing to turn over the cushions as well. You can do, of course, but there we go. There's the cooled mattress topper. We can just pop a sheet on that and then pop a duvet on. There we go, all set for bed. The duvet will then fold up nice and small, like so, and then that'll just go up on the top, like so. It tucks in there nicely. What we can do now is we're going to roll it up and pop it in a pillowcase. So that's it rolled up. Now we'll pop a pillowcase on it. And there we go, roll up and fit into a pillowcase so you can actually sit back and lean on them. Like so. When I had the Duvalay in, it was far too big to actually sit and lean on. It just used too much space. You ended up putting it in the front seat. Whereas with this, it's not really causing any problem at all. And it was cheaper. So for the Duvalay, I paid £110 for it. That was from Go Outdoors. And that came with the Duvalay itself that has the memory foam inner, the duvet in it and the cover. For this, and this is, you can get cheaper memory foam. I got from Dunelm and it was £60 less 20%. So that's £48. The pillowcases then were £7.99 for a pair. So that's £56. And then the duvet set was £15.99 and the insert for it was £15.99. So that's £32 on top of that. So you're still coming in cheaper than the Duvalay, and you've got proper cotton as well. There's also the sheet as well, which was £5.99. So there we go, under £100 for cooler than memory foam Duvalay equivalent. Now you'll notice on the Duvalays they're actually sewed up at the bottom and the one side of it. This isn't. I've certainly had no problem with the sheet coming off. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this useful and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.